So we are here again in the framework of certification of organic production and geographical indication course to speak about implementation rules of organic production method regulation, which is the regulation numbered 834 of year 2007, and the regulation that we speak today, there is regulation 889 of 2008. These two regulations, of course, there are other regulations, but these two regulations are the core of regulatory framework about organic production methods. I've discussed the regulation 889 of 2008 in other lecture. In this lecture, I am focusing in control and referring to the Title 4 of a regulation that I mentioned, so the regulation 889 of 2008. Could be quite interesting for the people that deal with organic agriculture to speak about minimum control requirements, specific control requirements for production and preparation, control requirements for imports from third countries and activity of third parties, control requirements for units preparing feed, and infringements and exchange of information. Here you have the link of the regulation where you can download the regulation. In this slide, I wanted to remind what I have presented previously and to have a general idea of the regulation. The regulation has 5 titles, has in total 22 chapters and 97 articles. And here you have the list of the titles. Title 1, Provisions. Title 2, Rules of Production and Processing. We have discussed about this in previous lectures. Title 3, Labeling. Title 4, the ones that I want to speak about here, Controls. And Title 5, Information and Final Provisions. Linked to these titles, there are 14 annexes. It is important to know which are the minimum control requirements. Saying that, this means that the certification bodies or control authorities can do more controls. The regulation fixes the minimum control requirements. Here you have a very simplified scheme of the important actors that deal and work in the field of standards or regulation, I mean, the control and certification. So we have European Commission, which works with regulation, and meantime, under it, there are competent authorities for each member state. Each competent authority applies a supervision activity in each country. This competent authority work and supervise accreditation body, which are bodies that do accreditation or of public authorities or private control bodies. Public control authorities or private control bodies depend on the country. They supervise the process and do the organic certification of operators. The organic operators can be producers, which can be big or small farms, processor, distributor, importer, exporter. As a product of or as output of a certification process, the operators can have the right to use the logo of organic production methods in the labeling according to specific criteria for sure, and to use and have obligation to respect certain rules regarding the use of EU logo for organic production and specific codes of certification bodies. Article 63. Control arrangements and undertaking by the operator. When the control arrangements are first implemented, the operator shall draw up and maintain a full description of the unit and/or premises and/or activity, all of the practical measures to be taken to ensure compliance with the organic production rules, the precautionary measures to be taken in order to reduce the risk of contamination by unauthorized products or substances, and the cleaning measures to be taken. Where appropriate, the description and measures are part of a quality system as set up by the operator. Continue with Article 63, Control arrangements and undertaking by the operator. The description and the measures referred shall be contained in a declaration signed by the operator. The declaration shall include an undertaking by the operator. So before entering into the organic production method system or quality system, the operator has to do a declaration in which he declares that undertake or respect the rules and conditions and standards of organic production method. And if we want to explain in details, it has to include that the operator undertake to perform the operations in accordance with the organic production rules, to accept in the event of infringement of irregularities the enforcement of the measures of the organic production rules, to undertake to inform in writing the buyers of the product in order to ensure that the indications referring to organic production method are removed from this production. Control body or control authority issues a report identifying the possible deficiencies and non-compliances. The operator shall countersign this report and take the necessary corrective measures. The operator shall notify the following information to the competent authority: name and address of operator, so its address, in fact, I mean the address of the holding where they have the offices and they do their processes, location of premises, and where appropriate, parcels or fields, land registered data, where operations are carried out, nature of operations and products undertaken by the operator to carry out the operation in accordance with the provision laid down in Regulation 834 and this regulation, so the Regulation 889 of 2008. In the case of an agricultural holding, the date on which the producer stopped to apply products not authorized in organic farming or organic production, the name of the approved body to which the operator entrusted control of his undertaking, where the member state has implemented the control system by approving such bodies. So the certification body for sure has to be approved by the member states through the system that I explained before in a scheme where we had European Commission authorities and accreditation bodies, certification bodies, and so on. Article 64. Modification of control arrangements. The operator responsible shall notify any change in the description or of the measures to the control authority or control body in due time. So in time. Article 65. Control visits. The control authority or control body shall carry out at least once a year a physical inspection of all operators. The control authority or control body may take samples for testing of products not authorized for organic production or for checking production techniques not in conformity with the organic production rules. Samples may also be taken and analyzed for detecting possible contamination by products not authorized for organic production. However, such analysis shall be carried out where the use of products not authorized for organic production is suspected. A control report shall be drawn up after each visit, countersigned by the operator for the unit or his representative. So, in case the operator is not present, he can delegate to his representative with a written document. Moreover, the control authority or control body shall carry out random control visits, primarily unannounced, based on the general evaluation of the risk of non-compliance with the organic production rules, taking into account at least the results of previous controls, the quantity of products concerned, and the risk for exchange of products. So it is important that control body and certification body or control authority to do a risk evaluation based on a certain methodology, taking into consideration the points that I just mentioned. Article 66. Documentary accounts. Stock and financial records shall be kept in the unit or premises and shall enable the operator to identify and the control authority or control body to verify what? A. The supplier and, where different, the seller or the exporter of the products. B. The nature and the quantities of organic products delivered to the unit and, where relevant, of all materials bought and the use of such materials and, where relevant, the composition of the compound feeding stuffs. C. The nature and the quantities of organic products held in storage at the premises. The nature, the quantities, and the consignees, and were different, the buyers other than the final consumers of any products which have left the unit of the first consignee premises or storage facilities. E. In case of operators who do not store or physically handle such organic products, the nature and the quantities of organic products bought and sold, and the suppliers, and where different, the sellers or the exporters and the buyers, and where different, the consignees. And 2. The documentary accounts shall also comprise the results of the verification and at reception of organic products and any other information required by the control authority or control body for the purpose of proper control. The data in the accounts shall be documented with appropriate justification documents. The accounts shall demonstrate the balance between the input and the output. Where an operator runs several production units in the same area, the units for non-organic products, together with storage premises for input products, must also be subject to the minimum control requirements. Article 67. Access to facilities. The operator shall give the control authority or to control body for control purposes access to all parts of the unit and all premises, as well as to the accounts and relevant supporting documents. B. Provide the control authority or control body with any information reasonably necessary for the purposes of the control. C. Submit, when requested by the control authority or control body, the results of its own quality assurance programs. 2.2 or paragraph 2. In addition to the requirements set out in paragraph 1, importers and first consignees shall submit the information on imported consignments referred to in Article 84. Importer inform certification bodies or control authorities for each consignment, the name and address of the first consignee, any details the control body or authority may reasonably require that are documentary evidence such as certificates, certificate of inspection, evidences permitting the identification of the operator who carried out the last operation and the verification of compliance or the equivalency by the operator. Article 68. Documentary evidence. For the purpose of the application of Article 29, paragraph 1 of Regulation already presented 834 of 2007, the control authorities and the control bodies shall provide documentary evidence that at least permits or at least permit the identification of the operator and the type or range of products as well as the period of validity. For that, they shall use the model of the documentary evidence set out in Annex 12 to this regulation. Article 69. Vendor declaration. For the purpose of the application of Article 9, paragraph 3 of Regulation 834 of 2007, the vendor declaration that products supplied have not been produced from or by GMOs may follow the model set out in Annex 13 to this regulation. So there is a model that can be used in this case for declaration. Here I will present the Annex 12 that I was referring in the previous slide in the Article 68 of this regulation. You can find, if you want to find it or if you want to consult it, you can find in this regulation as Annex, as I said, 12 in page 78. So the Annex 12 is about or is a model of documentary evidence to the operator according to Article 29 of Regulation 834 of 2007, referred to Article 68 of this regulation. Okay, sometimes becomes difficult for you to remind these numbers, articles, and referring more than one regulation. This is just to facilitate, to help you to refer when you want to find the article or the annex, and when you want to go deeper or to memorize. Uh, In fact, here is important the essential or the message. This, in fact, is a model of a documentary evidence that can be used from the operators. That it's not um, uh, it's not said that will be exactly like that. This is for one orientation, and each of the operator can do its own model, uh, which however respects the all the data that here are asked in this model of documentary evidence. Continue with Annex 13. This is the model of a vendor declaration referred to Article 69. Again, here this is a model. You can find it in page 79 of the Regulation 889 of 2008. Look carefully which are the data that this um, declaration is asking. I want to conclude this part here, and then to still continue with other parts with control rules referred to Regulation 889 of 2008. Till the next time, I wish you goodbye and good study.